Hey there, Rednecks, Preppies, Redneck Preppies. It's me, the Redneck Preppy. How you doing today? Great, good. If you're new to the world of precision or rimfire shooting, you may have heard the term carbon ring and not known what was being discussed. Now, for the curious, I'll explain what a carbon ring is, how it's formed, its potential effects on your shooting, and how to get rid of one. So it is a carbon ring. Sometimes called a lead ring, it's essentially a buildup of carbon and lead in the chamber of a rifle. Now, as its name suggests, it forms a distinct ring in the chamber. Now, how it forms is pretty simple. After a round goes off and the bullet starts to leave the neck of the case, hot gases and particles blast out of the case behind it. Now, this is composed of the gases produced by the ignition of the powder, lead particulate, material from the primer, or lubrication from the bullet, and potentially anything else that was inside the case. Now, as there is initially a small gap between the bullet and the case neck in front of those gases, most of that initial blast is deflected directly sideways onto the wall of the chamber. Now, the gases at this point are pretty much at their hottest, and as they cool, they tend to stick to the chamber wall where they land. Now, as you continue shooting, the carbon ring continues to grow in size, since that sideways of the deflection of gas is always most concentrated here. Afterwards, the hot gases follow the departing bullet. Now, a ring could conceivably grow to the point where it actually touches the bullet when a round is chambered. Now, incidentally, when it comes to carbon rings in rimfire rifles, a lot of people believe that the lube on bullets is a big factor, and that some lubes promote faster growth of rings than others. Discussions about carbon rings typically revolves around rimfire rifles, but it's quite possible for any rifle to develop a ring, and all rifles can suffer the same negative effects to some degree. Now, the first one is pretty obvious. Not removing a carbon ring will cause it to continue to grow by essentially collecting more carbon, lead, and other particulates. And as that carbon ring grows, it will, or at least possibly could be, harder to clean and remove it. And the second possible issue is that a carbon ring grown large enough could actually make chambering a round a little more difficult. The bullet and case neck coming into the area where the carbon ring on that rifle would be situated could come into contact with a large ring and face some resistance. I've actually seen this. And all that leads into the issue that most people interested in precision would probably be most concerned with, and that's accuracy. It's quite possible for a large enough carbon ring interacting with your cartridge to cause inconsistent chamber pressures, thanks to the brass not being able to create a complete chamber seal upon ignition. That could lead to varying velocities, group sizes, and therefore accuracy. If you shoot with a chronograph, you can often see this over a series of range trips with a rimfire rifle. If you shoot with the same lot of ammunition, you'll notice that your standard deviation numbers are slowly creeping up. And another possible hit to your accuracy is that the carbon ring could put uneven pressure on the bullet of your cartridge, potentially causing it to enter the throat slightly off center. And that kind of inconsistency is also going to affect your accuracy. And if you don't believe that, tell it to experienced precision shooters who change out barrels regularly due to throat erosion. They're doing that in part because of the bullets entering an eroded throat can do so off-center. And with a carbon ring, you're essentially replicating the effect of throat erosion. Now, I am going to say to some potential controversy that carbon rings may not always lead to accuracy issues. I recently cleaned the chamber of my CZ457 after 1,000 rounds of various types of .22 long rifle ammunition, mostly SK Standard Plus, and throughout that round count I saw no diminishing of accuracy that I could directly relate to the rifle itself. Nor did I see any movement in the standard deviations of my chronograph. That data point aside, however, carbon rings shouldn't be ignored because one will eventually affect accuracy and possibly chambering. I'm not going to demonstrate how to clean a rifle or its chamber because there are plenty of videos out there who will do exactly that. I will go through my procedure fairly quickly though. Now when it comes to my CZ457, I rarely clean the bore, usually only the chamber when I perceive a loss of accuracy. I'll run a brass brush with some Bortec C4 carbon remover into the chamber once or twice just to shake loose the easy stuff. I'll then soak a bore mop with C4 carbon remover. By the way, just what I like. It's not meant to be an endorsement. And put it in the chamber and let it sit there for 5 to 10 minutes. Afterwards, I'll take a dry bore mop and insert it into the chamber just to soak up any of the remaining carbon remover. I'll run a bore scope in there just to make sure that all traces of the carbon ring are gone. Now for non-rimfire rifles, same procedure, but I do clean the bore as well. Now how frequently you clean is a matter for a lot of debate. Some precision shooters, like bench rest guys, will clean after each stage in a competition, because they got the time, while others will clean after a set number of rounds. Experiment with what works for you. Most people will observe diminishing accuracy and then clean. At any rate, I hope you found today's video to at least be vaguely entertaining and mildly informative. As always, I hope your rifle remains as accurate as ever. Take care, and bye-bye.